So the other day I snuck into Hobby Lobby to get a new needle for my airbrush. Couldn't just stop there, so went ahead and purchased a new chrome pen because my thinner one is broken, and then these little pads, which are like the Tamiya pads for the weathering kit. They're good for applying some glues, weathering, what have you. But then I ran across this, which is a gold leaf kit. It was $9.99 for 25 sheets, and I had the 40% off coupon, so it was a lot cheaper than that. And here's an example of one of the sheets. I also purchased the adhesive as well as the sealer. So I went in there to spend $9 and ended up spending $43. Now, if you watch the channel or you're a subscriber, you may recall seeing the Khaki Kooler in one of the previous videos. Was never really happy with the paint job. It's rough because the body's rough. But this is going to be another one of those experimental videos. And the great thing about customizing Hot Wheels, you can always take them apart, strip them, and then redo them again. So we're going to do something a little different. Again, experimental. You're not supposed to gold leaf an entire car. It's usually for trim, lettering. We're going to do the whole van. First, we're going to go ahead and disassemble. Since we have our two screws already in there, it makes it super easy. There's no drilling, tapping, any of that. We just unscrew the two screws, take out the interior and the base, and we can get to work. The first thing we need to do is strip that old paint off of there. We're using our citrus strip. Now this is after about 20 minutes. We can just wipe it off with a brush. If you're finding that it takes a lot longer, shake it up well. If that doesn't work, go buy a new can, because I've had cans that did not work as well as others. Here I am attempting a wet sand with 3000 grit because this body is really rough. That's why that paint was so rough. You can see here we still have a lot of deep gouges in there. We still have a lot of divots. It's just a really rough body. There's not much I can do. So instead of sanding it, we're just going to wipe it off with some degreaser. You can see I am not holding the body with my fingers. You could use a pair of gloves, but I'm just holding the inside and wiping it down. Now here is the metal leaf adhesive. This is specifically for this, but I think just about any kind of glue may work. The key is to apply a really thin layer with as little brush strokes as possible, which I found almost impossible, so I'm using this little tipped applicator to do so. And then let it dry for 30 to 60 minutes. Now, since this is a total experiment, instead of just doing one panel at a time and applying the gold leaf, I went ahead and slapped glue over the entire body. Figured we'd get it all done quickly in one shot. And really, I'm not expecting much from this. It's an experiment. And if we mess it up, we'll just start over. Once you have the glue applied to the entire vehicle or the panel you're doing, go ahead and let it dry for 30 to 60 minutes as mentioned before. Now, you'll see in a little bit, I may have missed a spot or two, so keep that in mind. And once we've waited our 30 to 60 minutes for the glue to dry, and it's actually not dry, it is just really tacky. It tacks up really nicely in 30 to 60 minutes, and that way you can apply the gold leaf. You can see we just set it on there with one of the plastic sheets that's included. It's attached to this. We go ahead and apply it with a brush, and then we can take off that plastic sheet. And then all you do is you just keep on brushing it lightly over the entire vehicle or over the panel or lettering, whatever you may have applied adhesive to. The gold leaf will stick to that portion of the casting or whatever you may be doing with it. It's actually pretty easy to work with, surprisingly. Now the trick is it's very hard to get smooth. And if you recall, this casting is very rough. So no matter what I do, I'm not going to get a smooth finish. Also, I may have put the glue on a little bit too thick. I think you can see some of that shining through the gold leaf. But whatever you do, just take your time, use a light brush, and then try to fill it into all the nooks and crannies, which it actually adheres very well. And even though it's kind of difficult to get a really smooth finish with this, particularly on this casting, it's really easy to work with in the fact that on the back you'll notice I did not cover the complete back half of the van with the gold leaf. Now all I have to do is come back with another strip of gold leaf, apply it to that unapplied area, and what it does is the gold leaf will stick to that portion of the car, and then when you brush it off, it'll brush off the excess, leaving a seamless seam, we'll call it. So you can't tell where those two pieces of gold leaf actually met. It's really neat. I'm kind of surprised. I always wanted to try it. I've seen it on some hot rod shows, and I know it's very difficult, and it is to get a nice finish, but it's not difficult to work with. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. And here I'm just going to continue to apply the gold leaf over the entire van. You'll see I just take a strip, do that, and then just wipe off that excess. There I even get a spot that I missed earlier, and of course the front. Now, watch out when you're using a brush. Make sure it is a very soft bristle, because you can create brush marks from the brush itself, not the glue. You'll see at the top there, some of that is the casting and some of it is from the brush. I pressed a little bit too hard, and now I'm using a larger yet softer brush to finish it off. And once that's complete, we're going to go ahead and reassemble, just like we do all the other Hot Wheels, interior, base, and then screw it all together. Now you may have noticed I did not apply the sealer. This is an experiment. If this was not an experiment and it turned out nicer, I would definitely use that sealer for the gold leaf, but in this case we're not going to do that. And here is the finished product. It looks pretty rough, let's admit it. It's an experiment. Now some of those lines are from the brush, some are from the glue, but a lot of them are from the actual casting itself. This is a really rough casting. If you remember, the green paint was rough. That wasn't just the green paint. A lot of that was just to do with the metal on this casting. Now when I do it again, which I will because I still have 24 sheets of this gold leaf left, I will pick a casting that's in better shape, one that I can smooth out without taking off much metal, and I can polish it and make it look nice. And we may only do part of the vehicle, probably like a hood or a roof or something like that, not the entire casting. But it was really a lot of fun to try. And not only is it something I've wanted to try, it also gives me a greater appreciation for the artists that do this for a living. But since we don't like this one, we can always start over. Just hit it with some citrus strip like we do all the other ones. Wait about 30 minutes for this. It does take a while. And then it'll wipe right off. And if you see any of the tools that I use in this video that you'd like to purchase for yourself, be sure to check out the links. They are located below the video in the description. I have Amazon links to just about everything I use down there. I'll try to add some of this gold leaf and the adhesive in case you want to try something like this for yourself. Although I wouldn't recommend it for an entire car, I think it could be neat for some wheel arches, trim, lettering if you have that kind of talent, and so on. And as always, thanks for watching.